Hello and welcome to the YouTube channel D Creations Resources. It's the 11th episode. We already covered first 10 episodes, and in today's episode of Wir lernen Deutsch, or We Learn German, we are going to learn some basic phrases which are very helpful for beginners, those who have just started learning German. So they can use them while talking to their teacher or classmates, and they can be also very useful for tourists who are visiting this country. So they can speak to the locals, for example, using these phrases, because the idea here is when you've just started learning German, or for the sake of travel, if you've just collected some vocabulary with you, you also want to convey to that the other person that I am not fluent in this language, so please understand that. So these are some phrases which would be useful for conveying this. So let's begin, and I always do, I will say the phrase and then I will repeat it twice so that you can listen to the phrase first and then repeat it with me twice. So, well, the first thing you would need to tell the people is I do not understand, because suppose someone is speaking German very fast, there's a high possibility that you will not understand what they're speaking. So how do you tell them that so that they stop, and then we'll see the next phrase also what they do later. So you want to convey I do not understand. How do you say that in German? Ich verstehe nicht. Ich verstehe nicht. Ich verstehe nicht. Now here you can see that ish, you know, is a word for I. Now you're familiar with that. Or nicht stands for I do not, right? And verstehen is the verb which means to understand. And now we have learned that if we are using the subject as ich, that is I, this is going to be the form of the verb, right? Okay. Now someone says something and you've not understood what they have said. Someone said something in German. How do you ask them that what does that mean? Was bedeutet das? Was bedeutet das? Was bedeutet das? Was, of course, means what, and das means that or this. And bedeutet means to mean. Okay. Then someone is speaking very fast, as I had mentioned earlier. Now you want to tell the person to speak slowly, and you want to tell that politely. So how would you say that in English? Could you say that more slowly, please? And now let's say it in German. Können Sie bitte langsamer sprechen? Können Sie bitte langsamer sprechen? Können Sie bitte langsamer sprechen? Now here I'm sure you're familiar with some words. So können, now you know, whenever you want to say can you, could you would use können. And Sie, of course, is respectful for you. Bitte, now you're very familiar with. We had done an entire episode on that. So it basically means you are requesting, kind of please. And langsam is the word which means slowly. And more slowly is langsamer. So slowly than how you are speaking, or slower than what the pace you have right now. That's langsamer. And sprechen, of course, means to speak. So, können Sie bitte langsamer sprechen? Können Sie bitte langsamer sprechen? Okay. Now you want to directly tell that person that I don't speak German very well. I am trying. I know few words, but I don't speak very well. How do you say that? I do not speak German very well. Ich spreche nicht gut Deutsch. Now this is a very easy sentence. In fact, I could have asked you this sentence in the exercise here, because we've already used the sentence I speak German, which is Ich spreche Deutsch. Ich is I, Deutsch is German, and sprechen is to speak. And now we know whenever we have ich as the subject, Here it's going to end with E. But now you want to say not very well, right? So gut you know is good. So nicht gut. Nicht also you know it's the negative remark that it's nicht gut is going to be not very well or not good. So let me repeat it. Ich spreche nicht gut Deutsch. Ich spreche nicht gut Deutsch. Ich spreche nicht gut Deutsch. Fine. Now, if someone is saying something, you're not able to understand the word, you might want that person to write it for you, because then you can search for it, you can Google it, whatever. You may not be able to understand the pronunciation, but when you see the word, you might know it, or you can Google and find the meaning. So if you want to say, please write that down for me, how will you say? Schreiben Sie das bitte für mich auf. Schreiben Sie das bitte für mich auf. Schreiben Sie das bitte für mich auf. Now, which words do you recognize immediately? Sie, respectful you. Das, you know that. Bitte, very familiar with it. Für, we've used it for. Mich, you know it's indicating you. And the word the verb which says just to write means schreiben. And now you're saying write that down for me. So aufschreiben. So this is the verb schreiben. And now again note, since we're using here Z, instead of this form ending with E, you have EN in the end. So keep noting this, rather than just rote learning that, okay, if it's ich schreibe, du schreibst, sie schreibt, wir schreiben, ihr schreibt, sie schreiben. Rather than just rote learning like that, it is good if you're able to pick it up through sentences, right? So, schreiben Sie das bitte für mich auf. And now this term we have done. And in fact, I have used the phrase here and I want you to write the answer as comment. We have done it already and I have purposely placed it here because you can attach it to these sentences. For example, if you want to say, I'm sorry, I do not understand, right? You're combining this with this. So, whatever answer you will write in the comment, that will come first and then ich verstehe nicht. Or even you can say, I'm sorry, but what does that mean? So again, that phrase and aber was bedeutet das? So this phrase you can attach to any of these statements. You understand? Also, what do we say when you want to say goodbye? Auf Wiedersehen.